Hello, grade 6 students, and welcome back. We are still learning about the biomolecules. In our lesson for today, we're going to define the nucleic acids and we will identify the types and the main functions of nucleic acids too. So at the end of this session, you should be able to describe the role and the importance of a nucleic acid. Again, let's go back to the four major types of biomolecules. In the previous sessions, we discussed about carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and today we're going to deal with nucleic acids, including the DNA and the RNA molecules. Nucleic acids are the information-carrying molecules of the cell, and by directing the process of protein synthesis, they determine the inherited characteristics of every living thing. Nucleic acids are the largest and the most complex biomolecules. Basically, there are two types of nucleic acids. We have first the DNA, which is formed from a double helix. However, the RNA is formed from one helix, which means that the DNA that stands for deoxyribonucleic acid is a double-stranded molecule, while the RNA, which stands for ribonucleic acid, is single-stranded molecule. You can find the DNA molecule in the nucleus of the cell. It contains the information that the cells use to make the proteins. And as you know that proteins include many essential biological compounds such as enzymes, hormones, and antibodies. And all of them are very important for our survival. So, the DNA bears the genetic information that's passed from the parents to the children, providing instructions for how and when to make the proteins that are needed to build and maintain the functioning of the cells, tissues, and the organisms. Well, I want to explain about the gene. What is the gene? I know you heard about this term a lot. Gene is a section of the DNA that carries instructions for the transmission of a specific trait from one generation to another. So, a section of a DNA molecule will indicate the color of your eyes. And this gene, we will call it the color of the eyes gene. So, if your eyes are green, this means that your gene or the eyes color gene act as instructions to make molecules that will show the green color in your eyes. An important point to consider here is that nucleic acids are found in all living organisms, from single-celled bacteria to multicellular mammals like you and me. So here in the nucleus of the cell, we have sets of genes, and all the proteins are generated from a code set in the gene. Different genes code for different kinds of proteins, and each protein will be having its own function. This video will illustrate how nucleic acids will lead to the production of the proteins.
Have you ever wondered why every one of us looks like our parents? You can thank or curse DNA for that one, the magical stuff that makes every one of us, us. Hi, I'm Ayush Sinha, and today we're going to learn about DNA. Let's start by putting this all into perspective. The human body contains 30 trillion cells, and in all of these cells lies a nucleus. Inside every one of these nuclei, there are 46 chromosomes, which are thread-like structures made up of DNA. These chromosomes are arranged in pairs. We have only shown 3 pairs of chromosomes for simplicity in this diagram. Each one of the 2 strands of each chromosome is made up of 2 strands of DNA interwoven around each other in a double helix structure. Every cell in your body contains the same chromosomes made up of the same DNA. Did you know that if you stretch the DNA in all of your cells out, It would make a length of string twice the diameter of our solar system. Isn't that just amazing? And somehow, we managed to compress this gigantic length of string into our comparatively tiny bodies. So what actually is DNA? DNA is the stuff that makes everyone unique. It has a hand in pretty much everything about you, from the size and shape of your face to even the color of your eyes. In fact, DNA doesn't just stop there. It can be broken down further into sections called genes. A gene is just a certain part of your DNA that codes for a particular trait. You could have genes for eye color, height, hair color, and so on. DNA is what biologists call your genotype, what your genes say, and it decides how your phenotype is expressed, how you look from the outside.
Now, what about the main function of the RNA molecules? RNA molecules play an important role in facilitating the translation of a DNA into protein. So, the DNA will carry the information, and the RNA molecules are mainly involved in the translation of the DNA information into proteins. And just let me draw your attention to an important point, which is RNA or ribonucleic acid molecules, they are single-stranded molecules. However, the DNA molecules are double-stranded molecules. Thank you, and once you're done, join the Zoom session.